us now is Leslee Udwin. As we just heard, her documentary, India's Daughter, has caused lots of controversy after the Indian government banned it from being screened in India. She joins us now from New York. Leslie, thanks for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Let me ask you first, what brought you to this project, to this very sad, tragic and brutal story about a young girl being attacked and subsequently dying?
In fact, what brought me to it was a sense of optimism and a sense of hope, ironically. It was the most gruesome, horrific, profoundly depressing gang rape, but what followed in its wake was so utterly uplifting, inspiring and optimistic. And that was that the ordinary men and women of India took to the streets in unprecedented numbers and demanded a long overdue conversation about rights for women, the safety of women, and respect for women in their country. As a woman on the other side of the world watching this, I knew that this issue was not just an India-centric issue. I myself have experienced an offense, a violation against me. I was raped at the age of 18. I myself experience on a daily basis the lack of respect from a patriarchal male society, even though I live in, the UK. This is a global problem. This is a worldwide problem which we have not, as civilized nations, addressed yet. And that's what took me. Admiration for those people who said, enough is enough. The time is now to deal with this issue.
Let me ask you about some of the messages that this documentary sends. You've referred to this incident as being representative of, and I'm quoting here, most men in the country who are programmed in a certain way. Isn't that a gross generalization? Have you not tarred and feathered an entire country on the basis of one incident?
No, because when you look at the customs in this particular country, and let me just say, I've said it before and I will keep on saying it, it is not an India-only problem. However, in each country, it's a question of degree, and each country has its own specific set of attitudes, cultural norms and mores. And in India, it is a custom of society that when a boy is born, sweets are distributed at his birth. Now, that is not a gross generalization. That is a fact. Girls are less welcome than boys when they are born. Those girls who make it into existence, because there is a widespread sex selection in that country.
But I'm wondering, how does that...
The ratio of girls as to boys...
Why is that relevant to what you're saying, that what happened is representative of the way most men behave in India? Because I can give you figures here.
Because what I discovered...
Mm-hmm. I can give you figures here that show that there is a high...
It's about my experience.
Right.
It's about my experience in the inquiry that I made over a 2-year period, talking to the rapists and other rapists as well, not just the rapists in this case, talking to their defense lawyers, talking to the parents of the victim in this case. Jyoti's parents themselves tell us that when they distributed sweets at her birth, because they are enlightened, forward-thinking, everybody present at the hospital said, "Why are you doing that? You're distributing sweets as though you gave birth to a boy." The father, when he sold her ancestral lands, his ancestral lands to pay for her medical college fees, his whole family was derisory of this and said to him, "Why are you selling these lands to educate a girl?" It is widespread. We shouldn't shy away from that. That is what the society thinks. And if a girl is of lesser value than a boy, boys will grow up believing they can do what they want with them. And this was the insight that I gained as a result of my 2-year inquiry. This isn't about statistics.
Okay, that is a phenomenon that is not unique to India. There are very high levels of violence against women in other countries as well. I was just looking at some figures here. In Belgium...
That's exactly what I'm saying.
In Belgium, 1 rape is reported every 3 hours. That's out of a population of 11 million. In England and Wales alone, we have 1... out of a population of less than 56 million, about 78,000 rapes are estimated to occur every year. That amounts to 9 rapes every hour. The point I'm trying to make is that these countries are not branded as rape nations as India is right now.
They should be branded as rape nations. Every country in the world that has this problem, and there is not one country free of it, should be branded a rape nation. And the whole purpose of my documentary and the campaign which follows it, and which it was always intended to unleash, is that this global issue must stop. This is why on the 8th of March, International Women's Day, I had a symbolic, beautiful gesture of 7 countries across the world, including India, joining hands and simultaneously transmitting this film, which is actually quite a rare event because broadcasters are usually very territorially jealous about their premieres and their rights to go first. This was a beautiful symbolic gesture in banning the film. Sadly, that indelible taint will always be there, that India bowed out of this global gesture.
Right. Are you planning on doing any documentaries of this type on the kind of violence against women, say, in Western European countries?
I'm not a documentary maker, I'm a filmmaker. I've spent 2 years of my life away from my family, away from my young daughter who needs me. I'm not planning to do another documentary, and in fact, the film that I'm planning to do next, I have put on a slow burn because I have to spend time with my family.
What do you make of the fact that
I'm not the ambassador for the whole world. I hope other people will, as a result of this documentary, I hope to see one documentary at least per country in the world. I hope it will inspire that kind of proliferation of conversation about this issue.
What do you make of the fact that the Indian government has banned your film?
I'm very saddened by that. That's the thing that I carry as a real weight of profound disappointment and sadness, because I came with a very positive view. In fact, I made this film as a personal debt of gratitude to those Indian people who are forward-looking, who do want change and are demanding it. And what this ban has done is actually turned us into a situation where fingers are being pointed at India for being unconstitutional and undemocratic. And that was not my purpose. My purpose was to hold India up as an example of a country that has led the way, shown the way to the rest of the world as to how to speak out about offenses against women. And it's been subverted, and I'm deeply saddened by that, and I always will be.
Did they give you any reasons on why it was banned?
Yes, I was copied by the police on the argument that they put before the court when requesting the court order, and the only argument, certainly in the email I received from the police PR officer, Mr. Rajan Bhagat, was that it would disturb law and order.
Leslee Udwin, thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
Coming up, we speak with a feminist professor about the broader issues for women in India. Stay with us, you're watching The Heat.